What's a good word, everyone? I'm Kenny Vaughn, the owner of SportsBooks.com. Welcome to the show. We're going to talk about, what are we talking about today? Don't buy points. Okay. I am not a fan of buying points myself. That's for sure. Is there a way you can buy points and become successful? Again, it's about the numbers. If you can buy a half a point and beat that minus 120, minus 130 on a consistent basis, then yes. I never like to say, never do this, don't do this. I will say don't do 14 parlays or more because they don't pay the right odds. I will say you can do, and I have videos on how to win at moneyline parlays. So, but if someone can hit the right percentage of anything, then they can do it. But we are talking, what are we talking about? We're talking about buying points in the game. Okay, my number one thing with buying points is never buy to tie. I don't like to buy points no matter what. I want to be like, did I catch the line move? Did I not? Do I still like it? All that type of stuff. But if you're determined to buy points, do not buy to tie. If a team is favored by 3.5 and you want to buy it and have them -3 for the bailout tie in football, it's never worth it. And I want to give you the sports too, because this is mostly going to be a football topic. But for basketball, that I think is the silliest move you can ever make is buying, selling points in basketball. With all the free throws, with 200 points being scored in a game, when it's 70 to 68, with so many points being scored in the game, with fouling at the end, buying and selling points, I don't believe there's a winnable edge doing that. I heard of someone I really respect. He used to run a book. And the way sports books do points is, or buying points is like, shaving 4 points off of a spread or adding 4 points off of a spread. They would do 6 because they thought it was like football. You do 6 point, like a 6-point teaser, 6. They did that. People were like, oh, great value, great value, great value. They still lost. The bookie still came ahead. The dude I'm talking about that would do this stuff. So even when they're giving too much, I don't believe there's a system out there that can have you determine the free throws at the end of the game that can make it a 5-point game. It can make it a 9-point game. We've seen so many times a 2-point game turns into a 10-point game. With football, there's less points. So, with baseball and hockey -1 lines, I don't have a problem with. But this is all about football. And you got the key numbers of 3, 3.5, 7.5. If you want to take that full point from 7.5 to 6.5, I get it. I mean, you're paying juice in case they win by exactly one number. Now, it's a key number, but you got to remember, even these key numbers are like they win by 7, 12% of the time, or they win by 3, 11% of the time. They're still not big enough numbers, I don't think, for the juice. And you buy a full point, -140 to go from 7.5 to 6.5. Now, I understand that. I understand the value of that point. Because when you buy a point and a half, you want to buy to win. So when you go from 7.5 to 6.5, they win by 7, you win. When you buy a half point from 7.5 to 7, you still don't win. So if you're not buying to win, what are we doing here? So I think that's the absolute number one thing. I should stop the video right there. Don't buy to tie, boom. But I also want to tell you that all numbers are not the same. If you're buying from 9 to 8, That is not as valuable as betting from 7.5 to 6.5, 3.5 to 2.5. The key numbers, I can understand buying points and getting under, but not to tie, to win. So if they win by a field goal, you win. If they win, they win by a field goal, you win. So it's like, or they lose by a field goal, you win because you took it from 2.5 to 3.5. Either way, I don't like the percentages. I don't like the percentage that I have to win doing that. But that's me. And again, that's my comfort level. So that's how we, when you have that risk tolerance, minus 140, do you want to do it that way or do you want to do it at minus 110? So you guys decide for yourself how you want to process that, if it's really worth it. But if you are and can figure out a way, then just know that do not buy so you can get a bailout tie in football. Only buy to win. If you're going to buy, which I don't really suggest, but if you can figure out a system for yourself where it's profitable for you, please, please, please buy to win, and buy to win around the key numbers of 3 and 7 and no other. 18 down, 17.5 down to 16. I don't buy that. So do not buy the tie. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all that needs to be said on this subject. We'll see you in the next video, and let's make money.